Let's learn how to create 3D text in Blender. All right, so let's get rid of the cube for now. And to create a text object is really easy. Just add text right here where you find all your mesh and all curve and all that stuff. So, okay, so let's take a look at the text and let's just kind of make it stand up before we change anything. All right, so we're going to rotate it along the x-axis. So I can just type in RX 90 degrees so that it's standing. If you want to do that the traditional way, there's that rotation right there. You can also go to the sidebar, item 90 degree on the X. All right, so it's kind of position it like this, okay? So the first thing you probably want to do is how do you modify the text input, okay? And that's simple, simply by going to edit mode or hitting tab, then you can backspace this and then you can type this, all right? So we'll add some modifier to the text. Let's bend this text. All right, so at least we have a plan. And when you're done, you simply go back to object mode. All right, so how do we add that 3D element and change the font on this? So we go, while the text is selected, we go to the font tabs, okay? And then you get your resolution. So it's kind of like having your curve, but let's leave all this as default. We only care for now about the geometry and the font. So let's go with the font first. Under regular here, you can change the font. So, but it's not very intuitive yet. I don't know what they're going to do with 3.0 if they're going to have a preview on this one. But for now, you can simply open your font. Okay, you need to find your font library. I'm on a Mac here, so if I go to library and then if I scroll down, there's fonts right there. When I'm inside fonts, I actually um, you can bookmark that so that you don't need to search for it. I also have it on recent right here on font, but you cannot preview any of this, so you just simply need to know what this thing. So it's not very helpful scrolling through this, not unless you know which one you want to use. Okay. On Windows, I think it's on System and then Font. All right. So I haven't used Blender in Windows in a while, so I can't remember where those things are. But you can just search for that one. So you simply go through what's available in your system. If you actually have a fonts folder where you store all your fonts, then you can navigate where that font location is and you can just simply select those. So for this one, I'm gonna go, well, I'm just gonna leave it maybe the Blender font here works well regarding but let's go with something where there's serifs. All right, so I'm gonna click that one. Probably not that. um, let's see, I don't know what that is, but all right, excellent. It has so that we could see limitations. All right, so serif and non-serif. So when you have serif, you have this kind of thick and then thinner parts. Okay. All right. So now that we have changed our font, let's now go to geometry here to make that 3D. Okay. And to do that, simply extrude it right here. So I'm gonna make it sideways a little bit and then extrude. All right. So there's that 3D text look already. Okay. And there's no issue with serif and non-serif regarding extrusion. The issue with that would be the bevel. Okay, that's when you round off the corners right here. So let me zoom in. All right, so you get a depth value right here under round, and then you got a resolution to set up how smooth that rounding is. So if I click on just the arrow here on depth, you'll see that at 0.01 it added this really nice kind of beveling of the edges of the text. Okay, if I go too crazy on this, of course, you'll see it kind of collapse there. Okay, there are some fonts where they don't like too much beveling, they already start collapsing. So even on this one, I think that's a little too much at 0.01. I'm gonna go with 0.05. So cutting that in half. So that still gives us that really soft edge and corner. Okay. And regarding text, that's pretty much it. If you do want to animate your text individually, like so, let's say you want them to kind of disappear, well, there's tricks to that. Once you establish everything you need, like let's say on this bend, this text right here, if I were to duplicate this, okay, I'm going to go Shift D. So I have text 1 and then text 2. They're in the exact same position, right? So if I do want to animate them one at a time and then I want to leave that value to go across all those, let's actually duplicate another one. So we have 3 of them in the exact same position. So if I select on the first text and then I hit tab and I simply delete everything except, oops, the B, okay? And then I go to edit mode. So I only have the B right there. So I go right here and I do the exact same thing, okay? And hit tab and then so I can kind of, in a way, make them kind of appear and disappear one letter at a time. So you could do that. There's also ways to you can do visibility and hide certain parts, but if you want to play with the individual text, kind of get animating, going in position and whatnot, that's one way to do it. But that's not the lesson here. Just want to quickly show that to you guys. And let me just kind of get rid of the other ones. Okay, and then we go back to this text and let me just kind of all right, so there's that. Okay, and then you can apply just like any other object in Blender. Okay, let's get a floor for this guy here. Let's get a. All right, that should be fine right there. Now we'll simply kind of center position that for now. All right, so then we can go to our EV. Okay, I'm in the fourth one right here. We have the light right here. Let's kind of change that to a spotlight. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to change it to a spot. All right. And I'm simply going to press N with my sidebar right here. I'm going to go to a view. I'm going to lock camera to view, but while the light is selected, I'm going to press Control 0. That means the light kind of became the camera, but just to control it. All right. So instead of kind of guessing where I would position that, I can actually see what the light is seeing by doing Control 0 and going back to it. All right. All right. So let's say that's fine right there. And then I want to go back to the working camera right here. I'll do Control 0. It goes back to this. And this is camera view. So I can kind of go like this. And there's kind of like our first cheesy text right there. So let's add some, let's want to kind of make this, let's say it's metallic and it has some, some shininess to it. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to select the light here real quick. We're going to give it some contact shadow so it actually is grounded. Okay. And then on our text right here, we can simply, change the color to whatever we want on this one. All right, and then make it non-shiny, make it very shiny, totally up to you, but we'll just kind of leave it like that for now. Okay, so that's our text right there, and you can add any material. You can even switch that to, let's say, to emission. Emission, it's basically you make it glow. All right, but before we do that, I'm going to go to the EV setup here, turn on this things right here that kind of affects what we're seeing. So we want ambient occlusion for grounding, bloom for that emission kind of glow, neonish look, and screen space reflection, just so that we get some reflection off this kind of metallic floor. Okay, with the text selected, I'm going to go back to the shader right here. And once I increase this, there we go. We're using the text kind of, it becomes its own kind of light source. And of course, we can change the color of that to whatever. Okay, and this is how you do those kind of Stranger Things type 80s text. You know, you can even animate your camera kind of doing its thing. You know, kind of like a Dutch angle, uncomfortable kind of look to the animation. You can animate your camera. All right, so then that's how we create the 3D text. So now, what else can we do with the text? We can actually add some modifier to this. Okay, so if I select the text, I'm just simply going to make all my other elements here. I'm going to turn on filters, selectability right there. I'm going to make the plane, the floor, the light, and the camera unselectable, so that whatever I do here, all I could select is the text. Makes it easier to work. Okay, so if I press number 1 here, we're in the front orthographic view. So what we can do is we can add a simple modifier to this. So it's a simple deform. Okay, and then we can switch the simple deform to bend, z-axis. All right, and then we can basically round this kind of like that. But that's probably not going to be for the best possible bending on that one, because it's just too short. So let's just change our text here. So I'm going to say bend this text space better. All right, still probably not enough. Okay, now. All right. Oh. All right, there we go. So now I can. All right, that's probably will work. There we go. So now this text, if we go to the camera viewport here, probably not going to look good because it's not kind of centered. All right, so this is what our camera is looking at. We're going to have to move this text. Actually, put this back here. GX on the text. We're going to put it right here. All right. Why do I have 0 on that one? Oh, because I was still, yeah, I was typing number for the camera. All right, there it is. Okay. And let's take a look here. We can increase the bloom on that one. Okay, so let's say we want to animate this going um, going around, right? But the problem is, if I rotate this already, you can tell that the pivot point is at the bottom. We want it at the center. So you want to add freedom to this text here. If you want to animate this kind of going around, you want to create a parent for it. Okay, so we're going to get a circle, curved circle, empty, sorry, empty, so that they don't render. Let's put a circle. Okay, there's a circle right there, and I'm just going to scale this so it's bigger than the text, and then I'm going to try and center it to the object. You can eyeball this. You can also do set your origin to center, and then you kind of match it. So there it is. Okay, and let's add another circle. Let's just duplicate the circle. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this circle, but I will rotate it RX90. All right, so that we can animate it multiple ways. Okay, so this one will be the parent of the. So let's parent that first. So I'm going to select the text, and then this is circle empty one. Okay, so shift click that. Let me do that again. I missed it. Shift click. Okay, Control P. Object keep transform. Okay, so now when we rotate that empty, that one follows. Then we want this circle to be the child of this one. Control P, transform so that while that thing is circling, we can then animate this independent of that. All right. So let's just do our simple animation here. So we will animate this circle on frame 1 to be, that would be on the y-axis, right? So I'm going to right click this, insert single keyframe. Okay. And then let's go, let's say frame 240, and then type in 359, insert single keyframe. So if we're just watching this at 240, we kind of get that loop. So we can just kind of animate that going around. All right. And if we want the animation to be constant, let's fix that real quick. Because right now it has slow in, slow out. So we simply select that and then press V as in victory and just put vector. So now there is no slow in. It's like a machine. Okay. So now that that's circling, and we can now animate this one. And let's just make this animate go around. So let's go to frame 1. Okay, and then we can animate this along the z-axis. So insert single keyframe, 240. I'm going to put 359 degrees, insert single keyframe, select both, press V, vector. Okay, so now while it's circling that way. So you can put this on those kind of, I don't know, when you do your Neo Tokyo design, you can put it on top of the building and then one of those things that are just kind of circling. Or for product text also, you probably don't want to put that circle. That's just an example so that you can want to daisy chain your parents. I mean your parenting with empties, so you can do multiple rotation without getting too confused, so that you get different operators on each one. Okay, and you can also animate this color changing. So let's say from 1 you started as red, so that little dot right there, if I click it, that's a keyframe. Okay, and then let's say be red till 40. Okay, but from 40 to 80 or 120, let's say, be something else, green, keyframe it. So now it keeps it 0 to 40 as red, and it travels through that color spectrum right there. And then let's say 180 becomes blue, keyframe, and then 220 it becomes red. I don't remember the value. Let's say that's the same value. And it just basically it changes color over time. Yeah, let's hide all our. All right, so there's that. Really simple text in 3D and how to add color to it in case you ever need it for your commercial, and how to parent and add it. And you can have different color to it, and you can animate it.